and the ancestors are looking out for us. Rod Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown letter.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, Robot. I ain't being delayed, is it, Rod? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I had to fix my volume. Start with that little video clip. I wanted to start with that video clip I sent you. The lady telling about the 1871.
I got you. Hey, hit that notice the agent, notice the principal. I think I might be chopping up.
We already know anytime the chief talk that this is a public notice. This is a tribal notice for the tribes. I don't give a damn about the government at this point. This is only information for the tribes. It's a public notice for all tribes on the land. Notice the agent, notice the principal, all parties involved in the March for Freedom. So this is the recognized time-stamped archivable format in order to record the public notice as given to the collective people.
Mm-hmm.
With that,
right.
You ready to get it in there?
Yeah, hey, look, hey, it's going down. I feel good. I feel good.
Let me set up for the
1870
the video right quick. So the little clip we about to watch is explaining how long we've been in interregnum and have not have a real government, and that this is why everything domestically we had to do it peacefully. Because if we would have tried to have what they call a coup, a civil war, and overthrow the fake government, that would have been an act of war to the Crown of England, who would have sent reinforcements to put down the rebellion, which would have caused World War III. So government, real government across the land has not been functional in 100 and something, almost 200 years. We've been operating under corporate rulership. Corporate rulership is called an oligarchy, right? Because we got tribal rights. If one of the tribal leaders know how to reignite tribal government, right? Then we have a safety net for the people, so that when we take back everything from the corporation as rightful heirs, right? It's the executor of the state executing the estate's right to administer our own estate. That's all it is. So we had to do it peaceful, but we had to step up right in front of them. We couldn't do it in the hall at home, in the basement at home. We had to go where they stole the power, and right in their face, we have to take the power back. The only way we could take it back is it had to be given from a war chief back to the peace chief, and the peace chief is a certified matriarchy that's been recognized as the allodial title heir by the people that wrote all this paperwork bullshit up.
Yeah, Redbird. Mm-hmm.
Now, they recognize Empress Redbird. Now, remember, they the ones operating in fraud to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So when we take it back, we have to find the source document that they are operating in fraud in order to seize that document. They're going to surrender it if we write. Okay, now, so the video we about to watch is showing you that this was not a violent rebellion. This was the peaceful passing of the war regime that's operating on the land to the matriarchy so they can mother the nation back whole. Mother the people back whole. This don't got nothing to do with beating nobody up or none of that. It's just making the people whole. That's why we couldn't take sides in tribal conflict. We had to speak up for all of the tribes, even the $5 Indians. Because if we start picking and choosing and taking sides without knowing what happened, then they're going to say they're not qualified to be ready to administer justice, right? Peacefully administer justice among the people. So we had to create, or we had a system laid out called a tribal redemption process. It's also mirrored as the redemption process of a usufruct to come back and reclaim what's rightfully theirs. And that's called a postulinium. The postulinium is when you taking it back now, you letting everybody know, hey, okay, I'll let y'all live in my house, I'll let y'all run around. Now I gotta come and clean it up and put it back in order. This is the only people right now acting in belligerency and continuation of the occupation are the police and the bar members.
The lawyers.
So in this notice, we should be demanding Donald Trump to go ahead and issue the executive order to arrest all administrative law judges because they already sent them a cease and desist.
Mm-hmm.
I should have sent you that receipt, Elder.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it. But he sent them a cease and desist. But the lady that we about to watch, she about to explain to you what we were dealing with as far as the legalities of it go. And this is why they don't never honor people's rights correctly and uniform. They might honor mine and disrespect elders. They might honor elders and disrespect mine. And we might be on similar situated with the same variables to the situation, but they won't administer correctly what they call stare decisis.
Mm-hmm.
They won't stand on stare decisis because they're not operating for the purposes of justice. They're operating for the purposes of bondage servitude of an occupant of an occupied territory and the subjugation of the return to power of those occupants.
Mm-hmm.
So for the last 7 years, I was following the oral traditions to get it all back. I can't give it back unless I find the rightful heir that they recognize as a rightful heir and tell everybody this who they recognize and as the rightful heir that they willing to surrender the estate to. Now, in the meantime, everybody is conditioned, socially conditioned, to what we call the Democratic Republican style of government, which is all operating in fraud. It's a stage show, a good cop, bad cop stage show. While they are keeping us in the police state, they're using the stage show of the political satire to keep us from standing up and to use that as the artificial means to insert rules into the society under the false name of a law. They not laws, they ordinances, they statutes. That's not law.
Code.
Under the common law, you have inalienable rights that they can't take from you, that you can operate your exercising your right with impunity. It's under the matriarchy is only. This is why in the Constitution it says all crimes must have a victim. Who the victim in the traffic ticket, Elder?
The state, the artificial state.
The United States Supreme Court said the state can't be a party to the complaint, and it be a constitutional complaint.
Or the city of Dallas, the city
that's still part of the government. That's still a government agency. So who's the victim in who got hurt?
Really, the victim is you being victimized in a way.
You are the actual victim. They just turned it around on you.
Mm-hmm.
They taking your rights to travel and to do commerce on the land in free enterprise under the matriarchy.
Well, they say when you signed a license with us, a contract, you signed a license, man. We got you.
That's also a breach of your rights. Because the Constitution prohibits you to put stipulations on by which you can exercise a right. It's called an abridgment of your rights. It said none of these rights shall be abridged. That means you can't restrict them. Mm-hmm. If they license it, it's saying they law that a license is permission to do something that's illegal, and none of your rights are illegal.
Go ahead, Rod.
Right? So why you need a license? Right? We understand IDs, that don't really bother us. You know why? Because we supposed to have an ID under our tribal banner. Mm-hmm. So that we could show the big mama where we going. So all it was contact information for us. Mm-hmm. This is who I am, and this is who my big mama is, and this is the way that you get in touch with her. This is who you send your scout to see. That's that's the original ID for us. Because we didn't all speak the same tribal languages. It was all written in symbols that we all recognized. Now none of us recognized any of the old symbols. So when they pop up, we don't see them. Mm-hmm. Roll the corn there.
Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We in here with Chief, man. For y'all that's asking about the Philly thing, we about to get into the Philly thing. We warming up, giving people time to get on. We got about 1,000 people on right now.
They gotta watch. They gotta watch because we going into the. They gotta watch. They think in there asking about it. This is what we talking about. This is the
all right.
The prep them on what we about to go into, and to give everybody a chance to get in here. We showing you why we had to do stuff the way we had to do it, and what was going on is going to come out to show you what these receipts is talking about and why we had to do stuff a certain way. The first thing we need to know is why in the hell do we even have to go to Philly? Mm-hmm. And that's what we about to get into. So roll the coin, let's get it in.
In 1871, the banks incorporated the United States and called the United States a corporation. And when they created the District of Columbia, what they did was they put that corporation in the District of Columbia. And they said that the members of Congress were actually managers of that corporation. And they said the President of the United States was actually the president of that corporation. So we're not living in the country that we think we're living in. And what I've actually done is I have said that we are under something called state capture. And I have said that there is an interregnum. And if you look that word up, that means that we don't have a legitimate government. And when the founding fathers wrote this Constitution, they realized that the bankers were trying to pull a fast one on us and to try to take over our governance. And so they put in a safety mechanism, and there's something called Article 5, which says that when 2/3 of the state legislatures request an amendment, that the Congress is required to convene a constitution to consider amendments. And the Congress was supposed to do that back in 1929. They've been in contempt of the American people. They haven't given us the opportunity to get our original Constitution back. They haven't even told us that we are not operating under our original Constitution. They've been lying to us.
Okay, so she explained it so clear and direct. The only thing missing when she said Congress must convene a constitution, she meant a constitutional convention. The Constitutional Convention's purpose is, in the case that she's talking about, is if they add amendments to the Constitution. But since we haven't been operating under the Constitution and nobody did anything to secure the people's rights, the people have an alienable right to self-determination if they know how to govern themselves. We know how to govern ourselves, right? I come from the tribe of growth and development, a non-treaty tribe. And my tribe, as you can see by how they have my chief, my tribe has been at war with this bankers that you call the government. And so I have to, as a belligerent war chief, I have to come in peace and not start the war back up, and to tell Big Mama, as the war chief, I give it back to the matriarchy, because the matriarchy is who handle our political affairs. But I have to do it in the same place they took it from us. And that was where we were. That was the purpose of the Philadelphia event. Now, in the beginning stages of rallying the people to organize the event, we came across some people that looked like us that was trying to stop us, right? So this is where the receipts that I'm about to show y'all come in. I have to let the people know by making a public announcement of everything we doing. So that, but I can't tell you certain stuff when I'm trying to maneuver around an infiltrator and a backstabber and a usurper. But I can put it coded out in the public, and I can come back later and I can tell you what I was talking about. So if you remember when we first brought it up, I was going real hard on the Philly thing, right? Then I had to fall back because security discovered that some of the people that was trying to get in was actually trying to stop us from doing the work, from standing there on the floor and passing the torch back to the matriarchy. It's the one I want you to pull up first. Is say every time we try to do something, somebody that look like us try to stop us. And they keep telling us to worry about paleface. We were shadowed by the FBI the whole time we was there.
You only sent me 4 of them, right?
Yep.
All right, so every time we try to do so, Okay. This one.
Oh.
2.
Oh, to go back to right there. No, that ain't it. That ain't it.
3.
Keep going. Right here, this one.
Right.
Now, I want to see the date on here.
Right
So scroll to the top to see the date. Now, this is also showing y'all how to cash in a receipt if y'all agree with something I said. First, you got to verify the date of the receipt before you cash it in. You verify the date, right? So you see this is May 1st. May 1st is called Mayday. This is a Mayday message, right? Mayday is a military term, and it's a distress signal, right? And it's a rallying of the troops. It's an infiltration is real, and we have to stay on pivot to sidestep the infiltration as it arises. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, right?
Right. Peace.
Go to the next one, Elder. This one right here. Go to the date.
Mayday.
Mayday. Remember, every time we make a move for power, someone who looked like us stop it cold dead in his tracks. Think about that for a minute. I'm telling y'all ahead of time that some people was trying to stop us. But we have to go back to the last one again, Elder. You see where it says stay on a pivot to sidestep the infiltration?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm telling y'all that we have to move different on the event, but we still see it coming and we know how to move because we see it coming. We properly prepared for everything to perform properly. So the fraud had been prevented. Okay, let's go ahead to skip 2 more.
This one right here too.
Now, go to the date.
The date is Mayday.
Mayday. Just because you don't point out infiltrators don't mean you don't know they there. MO unlikely to change. Time exposes all frauds. Everything went smooth. It was like we had this field of protection around us. Now, when we got there, I had told Empress, I was told we was going to see a ship. And I didn't want to tell the public that we was going to see a ship because I don't like talking about no spaceship shit.
Right.
I'll be worried about the Earth shit.
Yeah, that's
But
my
when
job. Spaceship shit.
They called me out on the balcony and they showed me a ship, a green ship cloaked behind the cloud. Go to the date, Elder.
All right, let's go. 3 days.
3 days ago.
So that was what? Friday? Saturday?
Yeah. Okay, now it said green. See the heart? That's the love. And the ship is going to show us, it was showing us what to do. Continue to do what you're doing. Means go. 1011, which was the address we were staying at that the ship was hovering over. Flipped 1110, born again.
Damn.
Right? 1110 is my birthday. So it was telling me on the mirror flip to proceed with the event as the coordinated committee or the organizing committee had put the event up. Right? So we go. So then the next thing we do is we go to the event. What I didn't send you was the bridge after the event. The night of the event was blue. The next day after the event, it turned green, which meant that we had successfully bridged the gap. It's more little tidbits in there, but this is what I had 72 hours to give a report to the people. And the Empress got to have her team put together some kind of public showing of what took place with the footage we took.
Mm-hmm.
When she do that, that triggers a whole nother timer, right? I have to preserve it right now by giving this report to the people about the event. And so we was supposed to went to the hall on Sunday. We made a pivot. I didn't know about the pivot. I told her I don't want to know the strategy because I don't want to do it live and say something I'm not supposed to say.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So she left me out of the coordinating committee and the planning committee. So now I don't got no information to get nobody. All I can tell them is I'll be there. I can't go into detail about nothing because I can't tell you where we meeting at, what time we meeting, because now I'm cut out because they was trying to ride my back into her camp. And I'm not allowing that. We not flea flicking around here. All dogs don't got fleas. You understand what I'm saying? We not passing fleas to dogs that don't got fleas.
Keep going.
Go
Rod.
ahead,
I'm gonna switch to my phone. Keep going. I'm gonna switch to my phone, Rod. So because people say it's skipping is probably because I'm on another spot. I ain't in my good spot to do the live.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Handle your business.
Keep going. I'm gonna switch to my phone.
I got you. Yeah. So while we was there, we were seeing so much spiritual stuff taking place. And they went and did an ancestral greeting before the event. And they took pictures and you could see the veil between the physical realm and the spiritual realm was open. So we was doing spiritual work and it's coming across as either political or historical. But we all have assignments on this earth. Everybody got a book of life or you wouldn't be here. The good ones and the bad ones, the right ones and the wrong ones. They all got a book of life. Now, you don't have to always follow your book of life. That's called exercising your will, your free will. But when you follow your book of life, that means following your predestined path. It's still your free will because that's the book that you chose to write before you came in, where you was going to be the main character in your life, right? And then you was going to have your entourage of characters, your co-stars all coming in and out of your life at different times, good ones and bad ones, in order to keep you on your purpose, on your path. Now there's obstacles on your path. And it's contingencies that if this happened, you're going to end up like this. And this is where you're going to, bail out. You lost track of your life. You lost your path, right? So now we come back, we see this veil thinning, and you can see spiritual energy moving as we down there, right? So when we was outside, we was reading in the courtyard. But when we went in, I had to pass I had to make the speech from the war side in order for it to be transitioned to the peace side. Because we under military occupation, but the government of the occupier lost power. Right? Since the government occupier lost power, the only government that is available that was on equal one-to-one status with them was tribal government, which we went over that in prior classes. So now we go there, we pass it back to the matriarchy, and now the matriarchs across the land will start having matriarchal conventions according to regions in order to reorganize their local areas for what government do, administration of asset. And then that's going to fall on us guys, me and elder age. We got to get these boys under control. They've been lied to about each other. They've been taught to kill each other. They've been taught to fight each other. They've been infiltrated by agents of the government, and feuds started between them that they didn't even really have nothing to do with. So now we looking at it, everybody want to give up on the youth. The youth is who we holding the planet for right now. All us grown asses done did our shit. It ain't got nothing to do with us no more. The only thing we doing is holding up space until the babies take the lead. And these babies that's coming up now they ain't like we was. They not misled to the same level we was misled. There's too much truth out now. Right? They knowing they go into action, they great grandmama and them, they great aunties and uncles is they Indians. Have we always been here like that dude Rod Hayes and Young Elder be saying? Have we always been on this land? And when they find out that we right from their elders, they don't have to be directly in our tribe. We did our part. We got that piece of information to the youth that needed it. Right? And that's why my assignment was social media. So the ones that came to stop us, they went Sunday. But we couldn't tell everybody because we needed other people to go Sunday too. The tribes was serving as a smokescreen for everybody that showed up Sunday. They was the smokescreen for the ones who came to stop us. So we went Saturday and did it on the pivot. Right? And I don't care what happened. I'm not going against my big mama. My big mama. You can't tell me nothing about my big mama. What you gonna tell me? And then I just so happen to have the skill set to be her number one advisor. Everything you about to tell her about me, I done already told her somebody gonna come and tell you this about me. So she waiting on your ass to know where the leak in the drain at.
Hey, Raw, I got some questions, man, because everybody was hitting me up. And they was like, I was out there on Sunday and I pulled up where everybody's at, because you just said it was y'all did it on Saturday. Everybody was asking about Sunday. Now, so it was at the Philly Hall, right?
Congress Hall.
The Congress Hall on Saturday.
Yeah, it's also called Independence Hall.
Now you said to me earlier that when y'all was doing the alchemical setup, that they didn't understand what y'all was doing till after it was too late. Then they ran out there trying to say, "Oh, y'all can't do this."
Yeah, that
so
was
how did that go? Go ahead.
Okay, so remember, they let us do the whole thing that we had to do.
Yeah.
But when they realized what we doing, they already knew what we was coming there for. They waited till they was done to protest. Hold on, Adam.
Go ahead. Hey, y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, man, we going in with the chief. This is the Philadelphia update, man. It just went down on Saturday, man. And Mother's Day, they had a children's event. We're gonna talk about that too. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. What you was saying now, they protested after y'all got out there.
Right. So they let us do everything we supposed to do, and then they act like they was protesting. They wasn't really protesting. Right. They let us in, they let us do everything we were supposed to do. And as soon as we got to do everything we supposed to do, they fake protested. Why they do that? So they can look like, oh no, we don't want to give it up. But they already gave it up.
Yeah.
They already gave it up. So when the lady come out there, right, to protest, she waited good until the last day. We was all the way done. Like we was leaving the building when she protested.
Yeah.
That's how close to the end of our little 5-minute thing that we needed to do. Right? So, yeah, so they knew we was coming. They was told, they was contacted by both sides, by us and by the government.
Now you said that that you might have suspect that some guys would, like Malcolm X said, he said so he suspects some guys was following him in black suits. He don't know if they was the
No,
CIA. He make
we
out
were
that they were
shadowed.
the FBI.
Listen, we were shadowed by the FBI.
Okay.
I spotted at least 4 agents. Then they was obviously agents, but they wasn't agents in disguise. I don't know if that makes sense. They wasn't agents in suits, I should say. They didn't come like dressed up like I'm the CIA, FBI, whatever.
Yeah.
They dressed like civilians, but everything was out of place on them.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, they had one, she was coming to do what's called a walk by. She's jogging, right?
Uh-huh.
And if you look at her, you know this jogging is killing her. This desk jockey jogging past, and she don't look. She look like she ain't never ran a day in her life. That's how long she been sitting behind the desk. Older lady. The other time the lady come past, and she got on a weave sports coat with some yoga pants.
Oh yeah, they don't line up.
And then it was a dude that was out front leaning on Empress van, right? I'm sitting there watching him. He on the other side of the van from me. I'm watching him. He on this little phone, right? So then I get up. Oh, somebody was talking to me. So he realized that he was, somebody was watching him. So he went across the street. And he was sitting on the curb across the street facing us. And I told one of the security guys, I said, don't worry about that dude. He just one of the FBI's that's shadowing us. Look, we went to log on to the Wi-Fi at the Airbnb, right? About the third Wi-Fi was FBI surveillance van. They wanted us to know they was there.
What?
They wanted us to know they was there. Because they had what's called shadow security to make sure that nobody didn't come in on no shenanigans. If somebody did come in, they disappeared before we ever knew they was there. We would have never knew they was there. Everybody know what this is. This is not for just me. This is not just for Emperor. This is for the world. And everybody wanted to be a part of the victory parade of taking Earth back from the wicked regimes of fallen ones that's been running for 6,000 years. The only way they can hold power that long is they can't let us know the way that we use to reclaim what's ours when we put under a fraudulent contract. That's why we use the oral tradition. All we got to do is put it in the public domain. We don't need the government. The government know what we're doing. The internet was created by the military. They knew we was going to use it as a path of least resistance and as a mass outreach agent. When they created it, they knew what it could be used for. If they could figure out how to get it out of the hands of strictly military and put it out into the general society, you can make the World Wide Web connect all of the chiefs, and then it'll make information move faster, which will cause it to be the Earthborn to be able to see what's going on. Then they just needed somebody that was a lens that everybody can focal through, and that lens becomes the one they use because of the skill set at the top, in order to tell everybody what's been going on. This is what's happening. This is what they did to us. This is the way out. That was my job. I was born to tell us the way out. I didn't know the way out at first. I had to figure it out. I had to study my way so much till I can't miss the problem by accidentally looking at it. I know it's there. right? And so, yeah, the FBI was shot on us the whole time. Look,
Damn.
everywhere we went, the police was extra nice. Until the lady protested. The police kissed our ass the whole time. The only one didn't was the lady that protested.
Man.
And then they had a couple police that was supposed to give us a soft left bump and see if they could agitate us to riot. It ain't gonna work. We already prepped for this.
Yeah.
So when the little police came out trying to agitate one of the security guys, I told him, no. He's just trying to get you, see if you're gonna bite that hook. Don't bite that hook.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me. I said, just let him say what he say. We out of here. We did what we had to do. They just trying to see if we gonna violate the terms of the agreement to not start the war back up. Right? So the occupier is trying to see if we want to go to war. Yeah, I want to go to motherfucking war. But I can't go to war because it's under Big Mama terms now. She a peace chief. I want to kick some ass. But Big Mama said we can't kick no ass until we get everything in order. And then we're going to have to kick some ass in order to continue the process of putting everything in order for 7 generations to come.
Hey, Rod. So this is much more of a conjure or alchemical thing as far as as of setting up the reset. This was like part of the reset, it was more of a spiritual ancestral thing because they brought this in with the blood of Crispus Atticus, right?
Yep.
With the blood of Crispus Atticus, and that was a ritual. So we had to do this right here is more like a ritual to end the struggle or to end the occupation, right? Go ahead.
Right. So when you look at what's done with the Conjure Wars, because the Conjure Wars is tying us to the original Kingu spell, because they all do the same thing. The Amen spell, the Kingu spell, and the revolutionary spell, right? They all did the same thing, put us in a mental stupor. So we can't see how to solve the problem. Right? And so now that we see how to solve the problem, it becomes a series of things like unlocking a combination lock. If you do this, then they have to do this. But if they do this, to block it, you have to do this. Right? And everybody got a piece to the puzzle. But everybody don't want to share their piece because they think that their piece is the only piece. And that's why I had to study so many different tribal doctrines. I don't agree with half of that shit. But that ain't my tribe. That ain't for me to agree with. As long as the people in the tribe agree, the ones that don't lead the tribe. Just don't, try to tear it down. Don't try to tear down somebody's house just to build yours. Because now you're building yours with karmic debt. But yeah, it was a ritualistic expression, but it was also a blatant exercise of an inalienable right to grandfather clause in the grandmother clause. For the old war chief to pass the war time ending the war to the peace chief to administer the peacetime terms. Remember, the Constitution was a contract. It was a wartime contract. And then it got usurped. And this is how they were supposed to referee the war with the Constitution. It was to give rules to the interim government as to how they supposed to treat the people on the land. And this is what they called your inalienable rights, that the government are not supposed to cross these lines. But the government turned around and turned them into inalienable government rights and used them against you instead. So they started licensing your rights. Legislating
Rob.
your morality.
Okay, I thought you was done talking.
I said legislating your morality. They trying to control you on what we call instinct levels. If they know how we are, what our tribal triggers are, they know how to trigger us. It's like right now, if I go out west, knowing I'm a GD, all dressed up in Georgetown Hoyas blue shit, walking through Pyru neighborhood, right? And they looking at me like I'm a Crip.
Right.
I didn't disrespect their territory. I know the rules of Cali. I know me, if I go to Cali, I'm going to wear black and white.
Yeah.
Right?
We're all white.
You're up all white or all black. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be respectful when I go to other people's neighborhood. I'm not going to take my growth and development flamboyant style of the hometown to a foreigner's home, because that's going to make him look at me as being hostile to him. And he going to say something.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. That's my granddaddy. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Unless you can overthrow him.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you can overthrow him. And that's what we just did. It seemed so simple, but it wasn't simple. It seemed so like nonchalant in the bigger scheme, but it was the biggest thing going over the weekend. Right. And the event this is part of the event because it don't end to the 13th. And I'm gonna do that with Dr. Kia.
And you said y'all had a children's event on Sunday. Y'all double back with it. Well, how was that with the children?
Man, that was the ball. The little kids, they had to play games, and they got to be entertained by singing and dancing and stuff. And a little banquet. It was nice. It was nice. That was the Big Mama was honoring the next, because this ain't for us. This for them.
Yeah.
And nobody don't. That's why they keep trying to take people kids and shit, because they know that the world is in the hands of the children.
Right.
All we doing is holding space until the children is old enough to take charge. Every generation is borrowing the earth from the generation to come next. And if you keep creating horrible people, you're going to create fucked up societies.
Yeah, for the future. So.
Yeah. Every tribe know, this is how the tribes know I be telling the truth. Every tribe know that when we start something like this, that we always have to plan for 7 generations ahead. Even about the 4th, 5th generation in, that generation is going to have some kind of convention to prepare for 7 generations ahead. We were stopped from doing that. That's why we ain't got our shit. We was trapped in a warlock. Warlock is when Big Mama closed her bank. Big Mama bank open now because they trading in her oil for the first time in the history of America. Can't trade Big Mama oil and she don't sign off on that shit. Is you crazy? She got to have an authorized chief sign off. He got to be an authorized chief to sign off, or she. Because there's more women chiefs on the land than it is men chiefs. That's where a lot of people get stuck. It's more women chiefs on the land than it is man chiefs. Y'all got to get that in your head. The matriarchy is not this whole culture you indulging in. The whole culture is the military occupation outcome of years of degradation and degeneration of a people of a nation. We ain't under nationhood no more. We back to the country now. We not in the world no more. We back on Earth.
Hey, I got one more question about Philly, then we can get into some heavy duty questions.
Yeah.
Now you when you was in Philly, man, and you said you visited the Let All Eyes on Me bookstore. That's one of the New Wapians, Dr. Malachi Z. York's bookstores. I didn't know they had one in Philly. But I think it's one in Philly and Baltimore though. But yeah,
Yeah,
but how
they
was the
got one to be
people?
more.
Okay, they got one to be both. Well, so my first part of that question is how was the native people that you came in contact with? Some of them probably knew who you were because you well known. How was it down there
Look,
coming in contact with the native? Go ahead.
the people in Philly is beautiful. But we had such the little group that we had brought from all over the land. We was spending time loving on it, and it was contagious.
Yeah.
It was contagious. People that didn't even know us was coming up, giving us hugs and stuff. A lady from London want to take a picture with all kind of stuff. It was like anybody that went past, when they looked over at us, you could see them light up with a big old smile on their face, and they don't even know what's going on. Half of them, 98% of them didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
So the energy was just, it was all love. It was all love. It was,
love.
yeah, it was all love. And then, look, I went into the Walmart store, and I was going with one of the security guys. And when we walk in the door, the little boy took off his mama chasing me. Come back here, come back here. He ran right up and grabbed my leg. When you in that energy, this happens. So I pick him up and pass him to his mama. His mama said, thank you. She walked around, he turned around, looked behind her, and said, thank you. He couldn't have done one about 2 or 3. But he ran straight up to me like he'd been knowing me his whole life.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then I had went to a little boutique shop in there, had conversations with the people. Was just beautiful, man. They was just beautiful.
Man, I was doing some research on why the gas prices is going up. And I found, and I started looking into Standard Oil. And I saw that on these books where they was drilling our oil up until about 1933. And then they got shut down. Then they had to go, they went and got a deal with Saudi Arabia. What you know about that, Rod?
So the original oil companies in America was selling domestic oil. That's the only way that they were supposed to sell our oil is domestically. So when they shut down, it was done with 2 companies. One is called Aramco, which is an Arab American oil company, and the other one is called OPEC, oil producing or something. But those are 2 companies. When the oil was discovered in Saudi Arabia, the reason why they was buying it from there, because Saudi Arabia was dirt fucking poor. We was, at the time, we was selling oil domestically over here. I'm gonna use a term, but it ain't the exact number, but I'm gonna use this to try to show you the difference in why we started using Saudi oil domestically. Let's say we were selling our oil for $25 a barrel, right? When the Saudis discovered oil, they were selling it to us for $50 for 50 cents a barrel. When domestically is going for $20 a barrel. That's what made all these domestic companies merge, like Standard, 76, and another one became Chevron. Right? Then you had another group that became they merged under Standard Oil.
Okay.
Also, they had a bunch of oil mergers going on because now they can get the oil so cheap from Saudi Arabia. It's not financially, and it's coming this crude. It's processed crude, right? And so it's coming over here.
Hey, y'all hit that like.
It's coming over here so cheap and ready to use. You gotta remember, J.P. Morgan was an oil magnate in America, right? Then he switched from oil, he went into banking. J.P. Morgan then became Chase Bank. He switched over because now it was becoming more lucrative to be a banker than an oil producer. So when that happened, they relegated to domestic oil for the military usage. Right. So now with the military spending, all they have to pay, they don't have to pay for the oil. All they have to pay for is the refining of the oil, the domestic oil. They don't have to pay for the oil. It's almost free for them, which matches what they was getting from Saudi on the military side, being able to use it continuously, while the general public, it was cheaper to sell them. Now look how they did it though. They might be buying it for 50 cents a barrel to our $20 a barrel from Saudi Arabia. But when they sell it domestically, they're making a profit because they still selling it domestically at the $20 a barrel mark.
Yeah, taxing us, laying their hand to the scale.
All that's profit. $19.50 profit on the Saudi oil.
Damn, boy, they cold piece. Now, you heard Donald Trump just released the UFO declassified, long awaited, they say, UFO declassified files. A lot of the shit is grainy, ashy looking, look like from the 60s, man, or the 50s. What's your take on that, Rod? I got a clip from it too.
That was just an answer to the event.
That makes sense because you talk about the UFO thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was after I made that post. You gotta remember.
Yeah. A day after. Like 24 hours right after.
It might have been 48 hours.
Yeah, might have been.
After I made that post, then
it's on Sunday, I think. Yeah.
And that's just showing you that they watching.
Another thing, Oh yeah, so another thing, Rod. So now we see that Israel has been denounced by the UN, and they've been classified as an occupying force or occupying state on the Palestinian land.
Yeah, that was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think I did something where I reported on that. So you're looking at the timer in the book of Revelations. Right? In the fall of the synagogue of Satan. Right? And the prophecy that all nations would turn against Israel. What's another name for all nations together? United Nations.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Right now, before that happened, though, they issued a statement that Bibi wanted America to ride with Israel while they bombed Lebanon. I remember this. Trump told them, "No, Bibi, we not finna be your backup while you trying to bully everybody in the region." Right? Then the next day or two, they come out with the UN saying, with these countries from the UN declaring Israel as a rogue state and told them to immediately dismantle. But that's all a metaphor for the U.S. corporation over here as an occupier. Because the only reason that Israel exists is to show us an example of an occupation that the world has to watch so that we would know we was under occupation.
That's what I was getting to.
Right. So this is why the Israeli parliament was like our biggest threat is the African American youth, the black youth in America. Why are we their biggest threat? And we ain't even never been tempted to go over there.
Right.
Because if we realize who he is, the rise of us is the fall of them.
That's happening. That's happening, Rod.
I ain't making this shit up. It's all written.
Yeah, so this is my next question, Rod. Now that we know that. So it seems like to me, based on reading that logically, it seemed like, because I see that the Israelis committed war crimes against the Palestinians. Then the Palestinians was able to make it to the international courts to file charges against these Israelis.
We
and
did
boom,
that too.
led to
Look, we did all that too. Remember, America been found guilty in the world court for genocide against us already.
What you got a doc? You got where I can look that up so I can do a tape on it?
We already showed the receipt. We showed that receipt about 4 years ago.
Yeah, you know what? Dr. Kia Pruitt said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But me and you did a show where we showed that receipt too.
Yeah. Shout out Dr. Kia Pruitt, man.
That was when you started talking about cracking twisting caps and cracking skulls.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, they already been found guilty.
Yeah,
but remember, it's just a corporation. It's not really our government.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, they also declared the United States corporation as insolvent. Right? And then Trump came out with the birthright citizenship, and he said this is in effect at the end of the presidency. Because you couldn't be an occupier if you're from somewhere else. You had to be occupying the land in order to occupy the office. And you got your citizenship through your birthright, which legitimized you to the presidency. But when the birthright citizenship is lifted, you are illegitimate now as the president. Trump is not. Okay, look at the Trump terms. Trump been in office for 3 terms, but he's only been, this is his 2nd term in what we call public office. He was in military office in the Biden term because they operating from protecting the Constitution against a domestic enemy. So they allowed him to run the corporation's election theft, but they can't take Trump out of power from the military as commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The president of the corporation and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces is 2 distinctly different offices. This is why he moved to Mar-a-Lago during the Biden-Harris administration, because he had to move the capital to the finish line. Florida, Gullah Wars, right? Military capital.
Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead.
Then they raided looking for the 72 secret treaties. He had already surrendered them to the continuity team in Raven Rock, Colorado, a whole 2 years before they came looking for him. They just, because when you read through the presidential logs in the White House, every president keep records of stuff that he need his predecessor to know, the one to come after him. And some of the earliest notes say is about those 72 secret treaties. I don't know what they say, but whatever they said, I done unraveled that shit without reading them.
Hey, Rod, I heard somebody say, and then I went and looked it up, and it's in there. I think it was 2003. They said Joe Biden in the Epstein files has died in 2003. So that makes sense now that how that dude was walking. That dude they say that was Joe Biden that was walking. He walked like a robot. He walked like a robot, man.
Listen, it was more than one Joe Biden during that 4-year stretch. Man, I counted at least about 12 of them. But the one that took,
it could have been more. Yeah, damn.
Look, the one that took the cake for me was the 7-foot Joe Biden. Him and Gio come walking out of the White House, this sucker, and all of a sudden it turned 7 feet tall. That just
Damn.
like, I was like, the people don't see this bullshit, they ain't gonna never see nothing. But they was using deep fake skin masks. They was using AI animated videos with a realistic look, all kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I can believe it.
That was just a cover story. In the background, look, if you go back to the 1973 Hopi prophecy of the man with the red hat, right? The prophecy of the man with the red hat say while the man in the red hat was going to be doing what he doing, dismantling the government, there was going to be another leader coming he was going to be under the radar, so to speak. And he said he was going to be doing all of the tribal ways, the old ways. He said then the man in the red hat went going to get to a point where where it's going to only be the one that was following the tribal ways left. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, I gotta send that to me, man. My next this is my next question. This might be a little y'all studied, but so man, based on my research now, if they saying that Imhotep built his pyramid right around 20 to 25,000 or so, and then 1,000 years later, the pyramids is over here. But I have reason to believe the pyramids are old over here, right?
Okay.
In Imhotep.
First and foremost, when you're talking about the pyramids and the time frame they was built, every motherfucking one of them lying.
Yeah.
Well, none of them pyramids built when they say they was built. None of them.
That's right. That's exactly right. Go ahead, Rod.
The Great Pyramid of Giza been there 40,000 years minimum because it done been through a monsoon. And we know there's haven't been a monsoon over there in over 30,000 years. So we know from the water erosion on the Sphinx, it's been there at least 100,000 years.
Yes,
that means the Sphinx was sitting in the Giza Plateau for thousands of years before the Great Pyramid was built. It's older than the pyramid of Djoser.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the pyramids that was being built over here, that's old Atlantean capital construction. But it wasn't just here. There was a whole network of villages, stone-walled villages, because we built stone-walled villages not for warfare. It was to keep animals out, so we didn't have to disrupt nature. But now they telling you they was citadels of defense against the beastly hordes. We was trying to keep from hurt. We didn't want to fuck up no innocent animals. That's all, because nature's gonna be nature. If your baby out in the yard playing, right, and that goddamn cougar hungry, nature tell him to find some prey, he don't know that baby not prey.
Yeah.
Right? So we would build the wall villages so we didn't disrupt nature. They got a whole lot of stuff in the way they tell it to us to have no semblance of understanding of the culture of the era.
Right.
When they looking at historical events, they using modern perception and perspective. Right? Like for instance, there's crystal pyramids in the oceans, literally made out of. They look almost like they made out of glass.
Right.
But but they won't tell you or admit to it because they don't want you to know that the underwater pyramids got people living in it like a biodome. And if you get too close and they zap your ass with that electric field, they're going to either knock you out the sky and you're going to sink in the ocean, or they're going to portal your ass to another place in time. You get the fuck away from here.
Inside the center of the earth. That's what happened to Amelia Earhart. Amelia
No,
Earhart flew her plane right there.
Amelia Earhart's plane crashed on the island, and the natives took her in.
That's what they said.
All of her stuff was destroyed. She couldn't communicate. They found her plane on the island. But she lived the rest of her life with those people, the natives of that island she crashed on.
They never did find her. They said Billy Woodricks.
Yeah, because they didn't find she was died of old age on that island before they ever found her plane.
Yeah. I heard another perspective that Billy Woodrick said that she went to the center of the earth. That and that's another in Alma Bird's diaries. He said that he seen Amelia Earhart down in the center of the earth. Alma Bird's diary.
Okay, now look, I'm not saying she did or didn't go to the center of the earth. But I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of the indigenous tribes that still don't have modern culture go to the center of the earth on spirit. They shamans go to the spiritual earth on retreats, but they will die before they tell you how to get there.
That's right. That's right. That's true.
That's old earth stuff.
Hey, this is my question about the pyramids, though. So based on the time frame we got on what they told us, it's about 1,000 years apart. Even if we go with their story. So it stands to reason that either these were the same people based on the building structures, or they were already selling back in the BCs, back in 2000 BCs. They had already been building ships going back and forth with each other. The Africans and the Kamarukan people.
Listen, this is why you got to get the Vimana Sutras.
Let me write that down.
The Vimana Sutras is about ships from about 200,000 years ago.
Man, what the fuck? Go ahead.
The Vimanas Wars is one of the nuclear holocausts. And it talk about sky battles. We always been a global people. We always had, this is why they always talked about the New World Order. But the New World Order and the One World Order, they not the same.
Right.
The one world order is the one that we build. The New World Order was the takeover.
Go ahead, Rod.
But they gave an announcement last week before I left. I shared it on my page, one of my pages somewhere. But the dude said that the structure that the NWO had set up to take over the world has totally been dismantled.
Yeah, I heard that to a couple people.
Yeah. So we took it all over. We did everything we supposed to do. All we got to do is wait for the so-called officials, because we the officials. But we got to wait for the permanent recognition in the public for the people to know that everything we've been saying been all wise, right, and exact to the letter. We following the process. And that was the grand finale. Is for the war chief to give it to the peace chief so the matriarchs can mother the land whole. That's it. It don't got nothing to do with Malachi doctrine, nation doctrine, 5% doctrine, growth and development doctrine, vice. It don't got nothing to do with nobody personal doctrine. You can believe your doctrine all you want in your house. It's your leadership that has to organize your house, not mine. I'm not responsible to clean up the dirty Moors out of the Moor science. That's Angel Bay job. I'm responsible to do everything I can to support Larry in his vision of a future of a one people concept. That's it. Now remember, we Folk Nation, but his vision is for a one people concept. Let that shit sink in.
Yeah, hey, that's some good shit. Hey, Rod. So my next question is because we know we had the Tartarian civilization. We had advanced technology over here. And then I was putting together because I'm putting because as more I learn, I'm starting to piece this shit together. Because when I read the Mother Plane by Elijah Muhammad a long time ago, I got that book right. I done read it like so many times, and it ain't even funny. I done scanned through that book, but he said that it was built in 1929. That's around the same time as the Tartarian civilization. And the way he described how it was built, it sounded like that a lot of our scientists back then in the Tartarian civilization were already working with anti-gravity and all this shit. So they each built a part and just sent it to Japan, which was a part of the Tartarian civilization, even parts of Asia during that time. And then they put it up there. So do you think that's a possibility that our Nubian scientists that tie in?
You talking about the mother plane that Farrar was telling Elijah was being built?
Yeah, the 1,500 square mile plane. Go ahead.
Right. So
it wasn't 1,500 square miles. It was a half mile by half mile. That one. Put it like that. Go ahead.
We know it today as the space station, but the space station they telling us is not the space station. Think about this for a minute. What's the most expensive object they ever built?
Oh, suspension. Shit, Private Queen Elizabeth's chariot. Nah,
It was the International Space Station.
Okay, go ahead.
That's the most expensive thing recorded that man has ever built. But they keep showing us the CGI shit in this Hollywood stage that look like you in outer space of people on the space station. The space station is the ship, the mothership. It been there. And the reason why they say it's the most expensive object ever built is because it's the Crystal City. But they have to tell us by changing the narrative. When they tell us about the space station, they ain't built no goddamn space station in outer space because we can't get past the Van Allen belt, the Pleiadian light lock, because we was in the warlock. The whole planetary system is locked down for warfare because we kept blowing this bitch up.
I believe that they had built space stations like the Noah's Ark space station, but I believe that they got shut down or something is not it ain't going on since that Pleiadian light lock happened. They
Right,
can't get up out of here.
Right, but look, in the book of Genesis, I think it's 17:17. Noah left the earth with his craft. Right?
Look at that again.
But then they start telling you about a boat. Because they mix two different stories together.
Yeah,
nowhere
they call
in there.
chariots UFOs too. They call chariots UFOs. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, when they say Moses' craft went into outer space, they don't come back down nowhere in that book until Revelations. That's the only place it show up in the Ezekiel as the great wheel. Right? So they give us a modern twist on something ancient. So when we see it, we don't know it's ancient. That's like the med bed. We used to call them sarcophagi in Kemet.
Yeah.
Right? They was healing chambers in Atlantis.
Yeah.
And the translation of the Atlantean tongue would be healing chamber.
Yeah.
Ain't none of this stuff new. There's nothing new under the sun.
I'm starting to realize that's the truth.
It's just been told to be new. What's old has been made new. We had electric cars in the 1800s in America.
Yeah.
But we made them so they had to erase it. But we the only ones knew how to make them where you can travel around everywhere. They had more horsepower than a gas engine. These new electric cars is just trying to recover that old information. We didn't need lithium batteries either.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to kill the earth in order to have an electric vehicle. All we needed was a battery.
Yeah.
Salt, water, and some diodes.
Yeah. Yeah. They had it. Nikola Tesla gave them the designs in the 1800s, and
You
they
gotta remember
Rockefeller scrapped it.
those trolley cars in the 1800s was electric.
Yeah. Yeah. They had electric street cars like the ones you see in like
Yeah, they
Dallas.
call trolleys. That's what I'm talking about. They
Yeah,
call trolleys.
yeah, they had them in at the World's Fairs in
Yeah.
Chicago and these other places. And San Francisco's World Fair had them, and this back in 1920s. Before, look, see, that's another thing, Roy. I'm starting to realize that they paint it like they came and over here and they took candy from a baby, like we was easy, like we was some chumps. But then it's the totally opposite. It's the total they really had to. It took them a long drag out strategy to get where they had up ahead of us. It wasn't just overnight. It was a long fucking hundreds of years for them to make this switch, the Siberian destiny swap, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you think on that, Rod?
Look,
It took years.
we never stopped fighting.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why Martin Luther King was marching, the only reason why the Moors was marching in the early 1900s, the only reason why Garvey assembled a whole fucking army to take this bitch over and never did nothing with it, because they all found out that we was under a contract to educate ourselves about a condition, and that going back to bloody war as opposed to educating ourselves about a condition would give these people more time. They learned it from studying the War 1812. Elijah explained it in I think it was The Fall of America when he's talking about the extension that the devil got. That's how he got it. We broke the contract and we had to start all over. It was originally supposed to be a 200-year contract. It would have been over in 1976. But in 1812, when they broke the contract, and they called it the War 1812, it was an uprising of tribes, and we was fighting with government. So when they finally got it to come to a conclusion, now we had to start all over, and we had to go from 1812 to 2012. In 2012, now the only thing we need is somebody that know how to close out the contracts and with the blood right to do so. And then we need to find Big Mama. Because we can't do nothing until we find out who Big Mama is, and because they're gonna give all of the wealth back to her. It gotta go through her. But everybody don't have to know who Big Mama is. The only person that need to know for sure is the one that know the old tribal ways of the redemption, of recovering, using the grandfather clause to reinstate the grandmother clause. To uplift fallen humanity is to rescue the great mother from the admiralty jurisdiction of the warlock. She can't open the bank until I get her back on dry land, at least according to what Noble Drew Ali told me. To get her back on dry land is get her from under the jurisdiction of admiralty and put her under the common law, which is the law of the land. And the common law override the admiralty law if you know how to use it to your advantage. But everybody want to follow the admiralty because they're used to it. But just because you're used to doing something don't mean you're doing something that's right. Child molesters is used to molesting children. So just because you're used to doing something, you're supposed to keep doing it?
Hey, Rod, this is my next question, Rod, and then we'll take some questions from the crowd. Hey, everybody, hit that like, hit that subscribe button right now. If you're new to the channel, hit that bell. Hey, so Rod, based on what y'all the alchemy y'all put down in Philly, what are y'all expecting the outcome? We got an idea, but what are y'all expecting? What are y'all hoping the outcome of this alchemy, the end thesis, to start this, the switch, the reset? What was y'all aim and hope or end goal by setting up this Philly deal?
The Philly deal was to show the government and the military that we had enough heirs because we needed 109 heirs, which is another part of the video that you're gonna notice. It's gonna look like it's empty seats because 109 only fit on one side of the building. But because of what we had came across information wise, in order to protect the elders and some of the other people, we scattered them. So now they all over and it looked like it's empty seats because they only allow a certain amount of people in there. Well, they allowed us to have more than what's standard. As a group, we went in. So they allowed us to have more people than standard because they only allowed 75 people. But we had to have had like 120 of us. And the heirs that Empress decided to use was the elders and children, right? She wanted the elders heirs, then they had to vet these people before they brought them in. That was another reason that they told me to slow down because they was getting so many good qualified heirs, and then they was getting so many frauds. They said, we got enough heirs now. We don't need no more. We just now need to follow through with getting there and getting them to sit in these seats because just taking the power back from where they took our power from. Now we had went back to the same place that you stole it from to take it back. So when I tell her that it's time for the war chief to pass it to the peace chief, that was the end of everything we had to do right there, right? But we did a couple more things on the way out in order to trigger the lady to simulate the resistance. And it worked like clockwork. So on the heels of this, we don't expect these wars to start stopping suddenly. And we're expecting that it's going to be announced that the tribal governments are reconvening the Constitutional Convention of Tribal Leadership, which is actually a matriarchal gathering of grand matriarchs, the ones that already been doing the work. The other heirs, because we're not concerned about grown people. If you got to be 30 years old and you don't know how to make a living, nobody can help you. You're going to either be somebody's dependent for the rest of your life. Just make yourself useful so you're not useless while you dependent on somebody else. That's all I can say. But the children that's the rightful heirs are being taught how to administer their estate early, how to walk in your power and how to stand on your convictions and how to hold your position with a gorilla grip. Let the wind blow all it want to. You got a gorilla grip on your shit. It ain't going nowhere. So this was the purpose of it. What it's going to look like in the 3D when it started to roll out, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is I did everything I was asked and then some. And Empress did everything she was asked and then some. And both of us then went through hell and back trying to do this work. And neither one of us want the responsibility of doing it. But it still had to get done. And that's why I say when it comes time to take our shit back, whose job is it? Who's responsible for it? Everybody's trying to fight solo. You can't win it by yourself. You need to know something from every tribe and follow the oral tradition of the redemption. and identify the heirs. Once you got the heirs identified, you only needed a certain number of heirs to say, we are here to reclaim our estate. When we walked out that building, we buried the old system. That's why they left the roses. Those seats are dead now. Now we had to move the capital across the Mississippi. When it's going to be up to the matriarchs, what area, what building and structure. We're going to have some of the regions that is going to be broke. I call it regions because I don't know what they're going to call them. But the lands of demarcation is going to have an area where a certain amount of matriarchs that's been doing the work, that's been tried and proven, sit over that region to make sure the resources get where they need. The children is properly educated in the family dynamics. Like right now, I'm sitting here, this is one of the things I hate about social media. They done fabricated this war between the genders within specific groups. Some groups won't participate in it. So it only fall down to two groups of people that participate in the my man ain't shit, my woman ain't shit war. The ones that look like us and crackers. The Hispanics, they don't even get involved in that shit. The women know they role, the men know they role, and they play accordingly. The Haitians, the Jamaicans, they don't get involved in that shit. This I can't find a good woman shit. That's because you a piece of shit. You ain't supposed to find one yet. Until you stop being a piece of shit, you ain't gonna never find a good woman. Unless she come to turn your shitty ass into fertilizer and grow a new crop. Turn you into compost. But all of these divide and conquer measures, and we still, the different tribes have their different ways with the divide and conquer. Larry never taught us a race-based doctrine. He taught us a loyalty, knowledge, wisdom-based doctrine. Love, honor, and life doctrine. He didn't teach us to look at people for their skin color, for their hair texture. None of that's part of our doctrine. But some of the neighboring tribes, that's in their doctrine. And that's their doctrine. I can't change their doctrine. I can live by mine. I can believe and stand on what I stand on. And anybody that know me know I stand on 215-19 BOS 74 GD to the world blow. Right? And we growth and development. But when I was in my street days, I was gangster disciple like a motherfucker. But my chief said, we ain't doing that dumbass shit no more. Everybody didn't listen. Just the only people on the planet that could have really gave me a direct order is my mama, my daddy, and Larry Hoover. Ain't nobody else. I might listen to one of my relatives, like auntie, uncle say, but I wasn't always going to listen to them motherfuckers. But Larry said, stop fucking gangbanging. We need somebody to hit the books because this is an intellectual thing here. This is the mental game. It's about the man. Somebody got to get into brain banging. Somebody got to hit the books and find out where the problem at so we can set the record straight. I can use the structure and guidelines of all of the other tribes, the Nubian Nation, Nation of Islam, Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords. I can use their structure to look for solutions. A lot of them had solutions. We be forgetting that Elijah Muhammad invented something called a franchise. He had the first franchise. McDonald's wasn't the first franchise. They stole his model. Matter of fact, I'm going to recommend that the minister sue every franchise for not paying royalties to Elijah Muhammad's estate for using his franchise model. How you like that? All of it.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
So y'all let it be known, Faircon need to have his legal team file suit against every franchise for stealing the franchise model that was invented by Elijah Muhammad, and they never recognized him for it. And they know he was first. Everybody else just had one restaurant in one city, and that was it. They had one corner store in one city, that was it. Right? Elijah Muhammad invented the franchise, bakeries, restaurants, schools. They was all Nation of Islam. Star and Crescent bus line. The Star and Crescent Bank. You had a chain of banks. We forget about that part. The Nation of Islam didn't need nobody, but they got infiltrated. And it cost Malcolm his life. Malcolm ain't the only one in the nation that died from that shit. That same war cost Clarence 13X, father of a lot of the 5% nation, his life. That same war, when they poisoned Yahweh ben Yahweh. That's the same war, the same rotten motherfuckers. They told us he had cancer. He had no goddamn cancer. They poisoned that man.
Long you love Yahweh, man.
And that ain't even my doctrine. But I got to tell the truth where I see it at. I know about COINTELPRO, and I know how they operate, and I know when they are active.
Yeah, hey Rod, they said I found out it's a book I read. They was talking about the secretary, that main secretary. He was and then when you look at him, a picture of him, he looked just like one of them ones that look like us but ain't us, like just like Jimmy Henchman. He looked just like him. They got this look like this Al Madrid
They always
look.
tell you who they are, though. They tag themselves some kind of way. Jimmy Hitchman tagged himself by naming his records label Czar Records.
Right. That makes sense. They always
The
got a
Tsar,
connection back to the
the old Russian Empire, the Tsar Russia. Yeah, that was another name for the Emperor of Rome, too. He telling you who he is. I don't got no mercy for him. He fucking with a real outlaw. I'm Morpheus Hitler, the bitch nigga cleanser. The last outlaw. That's why Pac say, who are the outlaws? Why I naming them names? Them the names of everybody that America hate. I'm the worst motherfucker to these motherfuckers, so I might as well be Hitler.
Hey, y'all, drop them questions in the chat for the chief, man. We're gonna put them on the screen for you, man. We got about 20 minutes, man. We'll take a couple of questions from the crowd. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button for you people that's asking, man, about the Cash App and PayPal. We drop it every 5 minutes or so in the chat. We just put it up there just now. So if you want to show the chief some love, right now, everybody sent him $10. Somebody sent him 100. Somebody sent him 25. Right? We need to put them in the game till the next time we come back on. Drop them questions in the chat, y'all. Somebody
see
got
one
one
that
right
need
here.
to be answered too, because that's a good question.
Where is it, bro? Let me
It's by Troy. Troy TBS asked a question.
I'm trying to find shit.
It must be like 6 from the bottom.
It's bagging me up, man.
Okay, I'll just read his question, Elder.
All right, what it say?
All right, at Troy _TBS asks, why King Charles told Trump?
Okay, here you go right here. Here you go, right here, bro. Why King Charles told Trump they be speaking French, if not for British aid. How deep is the tribal and French connection?
Okay, so this is the reason. What language do Haiti speak?
French?
Okay, well, who supplied them with armaments to overthrow the French? Don't nobody know,
Yeah.
right?
They use voodoo shit. Go
The
ahead.
voodoo was the power
Yeah.
and the strategy,
Yeah.
but they were having see, the British and the French were at odds about who would run this land, right?
Yeah.
So the British end up buying the Louisiana Purchase as the United States of America.
Right.
Louisiana Purchase was not a purchase of all of the land of the Louisiana Territory.
That's right.
The Louisiana Purchase was the purchase of the Port of Nola as an outpost and to protect the tribes that covered the territory called the Louisiana Territory. Now, the French is invading, but they getting their ass kicked, but the English is too. And they getting their ass kicked by the tribes. So the tribes that's fighting the French is approached by the English to supply them with weaponry to fight the French. But that was to do two things. Just eliminate the competition in Europe and to split the forces on the ground of the people of the land by making them look more friendly to the cause of the tribes, but they all the time they were still fighting other tribes in other parts of the land, the Northeast, all the way down the Eastern Shoreboard, right up into the Carolinas. From the Carolinas down, they was fighting the Spanish, right? With the Gullah Wars, what they call Seminole Wars, was the tribes fighting the Spanish. The New England Territory, we was fighting the English. In the Louisiana Territory, we was fighting the French. The Haitians was getting military armaments smuggled to them from the mainland tribes who got it from the English to supply them with the necessary materials to overthrow the French in Haiti. Then here on the mainland, once Chief Pontiac beat the French in one of the battles of Fort Detroit and ran them off the land, now the French have to go because they lost two major conflicts. You only get 2 out of 3. When they lost 2 out of 3, they had to go. We fought the English to a stalemate. The stalemate is called a constitutional republic. So once that happened, then they bought the Louisiana Territory from the French, and that opened gates to what we call English colonization expansion.
West, going west.
Right. Now, that was because the English was fighting 2 wars at the same time. They was fighting one in England against the French, or one in Europe against the French, but it wasn't a bloody war. It was a banker's war. Who gonna get the interest that we trying to fight for? This is what gave rise to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, because they was robbing each other, taking shit they stole from over here back to Europe. They robbing each other on the high seas, the Spanish, the French, the English, whoever. If you get somebody that ain't from your crew coming across there with the wrong flag on, you board that ship and take their shit. Piracy.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They opened up Puerto Rico, the rich port. The rich port was opened by the Spanish as the way station and the holdover of all of the stolen wealth before they took it back to Spain. Right? So when King Charles told Trump they'd be speaking French, that's because the English bought out the French. Because the French couldn't stand and lose another battle, or else they would have had to surrender their homeland. If they'd have lost 3 straight conflicts, then we'd have had Indians and France running that bitch. So they didn't want to take that chance. And England didn't want us in their backyard while they occupying us over here. But we still had some people sent over there, though. Told some shit up.
Hey, Rod, I was going breaking. I just did a tape on that on the Sundridge Moors Act of 1790. I'm seeing a lot of this shit happen in 1790 when they started robbing us. 80, 70, 80, 1789, between the 80s and 90s of 1700s. But one of the things I figured out why they don't honor that treaty is because and they don't even tell the Moors this. Is because I was studying this judge thing. He says that they don't honor that treaty secretly is because it was under that Sultan the third, Muhammad the third, he held them captive. Now that's from their perspective though.
Yeah,
Like
that's
he
called a
held
duress
they,
treaty.
yeah, and forced them to sign the treaty, right?
Yeah,
But
it's
they were
called a duress
kidnapping his
treaty.
people too, though. But they were
Yeah.
kidnapping his people too. Yeah.
Right. And so and that's when they called it the treaty, the Paris Accord. The Paris Accord was the meeting that gave birth to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. And it came to an agreement of, okay, man, I'll stop kidnapping your people and you stop kidnapping my people and we'll go over there and steal their shit together.
Yeah, and look, this is another thing. Why the fuck if he making a deal with Morocco, why they going to Paris? And I come to find out that France and Spain was the real owners of the new Morocco, the new created Morocco in 1914. And the people the new guys that was over it now were these pale Arabs mixed with these Somalians, and that's who suited Muhammad. But it seemed like if you study him though, he didn't have no love for really nobody, for the colonizers or the original people that was there in that land. He kicked out the French. He eventually kicked out the French. And
you talking about the Sultan that overseen that? He didn't have nothing to do with those lands. The Sultan that was overseeing that peace accord. Okay, so this is what they do. You have to have a neutral third party royalty when you have two royal houses at war.
Okay.
He was the overseer of the negotiations as a neutral third party. Now,
between France and the U.S.,
it wasn't U.S. and the U.S. didn't have nothing to do with that treaty. The treaty was between England and France.
Okay, you
talking England and Spain. It was between England and Spain. France was they was on their last leg over here when it was signed. The treaty was signed. The company that's not Morocco, it was called something Al Morocco. It was the Royal Moroccan Company of Spain.
Barber Company. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna write this down.
It was the Royal Moroccan Company of Spain was a shipping company that transported Spanish goods. But they also was a supplier of ship transport for naval forces. Navies didn't have their own ships. Navies were created after the fact from fishermen and traders, people that traded in goods across waters. This is what the original sailors was. They wasn't soldiers. They was merchants. This is where you get your term merchant seaman. They was merchants of the high seas. And this is how they had to come up with the law, the Code of Thieves is what it used to be called. They had two of them. One was called the Code of Kings, right, which was the rule book that the royalty went by. And then you had the Code of Thieves, which was the rule book that people called rogues went by.
Mhm.
The rogues were what we would today call outlaws, a criminal element. But they had rules they lived by, etiquette, right? So when they took the book, the kings was trying to catch all of the people that had the book with a code of thieves because it gave them equal power with the kings if they followed the book. It made godfathers in the middle of the presidential election. You got equal footing with them. You just not recognized the same way as them. Your ghetto superstars, they living by the code of thieves. The code of thieves was written in Thebes, Thebes, which is the code of Chicago, the street code, trues and vogues, box Chevys, right? So the code of thieves, also known in India as the code of the thuggy, was the etiquette and lifestyle of how they was to conduct themselves to protect the people from the greed of the kings. Right? So it was the pedagogue. This is a book, by the way. It was the pedagogy of the oppressed. We had to have a counterbalance to the rulership of the royalty in order to prevent the abuse of the peasantry. We didn't mind you being a superstar, but just because you're a superstar don't mean you get to mistreat and rape babies, drink their blood for success. We we got talent innate down here in the ghetto. We got innate talent in the ghetto. How you know? Because everybody that's been brought up to the top been dipped from the ghetto.
Right.
Right. So if the talent is down there, that means that you don't necessarily have to be belligerent to life in order to be successful. You don't have to be a predatory on children to be successful.
Right.
Right. So we have to have a counterbalance in alignment with Mott.
Right.
You want to take that one out? We went over this
Yeah.
with so many.
So if you want to find your tribe, me and Rod put together this this playlist called Native American Chief School. It's got about 500 and some tapes in there, and I'm adding probably a tape every other day. But you want to watch the first tapes called Tracing Your Ancestry History, Part 1 through 6, and the last name tapes, and that'll help you. That breakdown was actually it was several books that we use in newspaper clippings, like from Doc. Shout out Dame Calloway. We use Dame Calloway's book Tracing Ancestry History, and a whole bunch of other Dawes Rolls documents and everything that put them tapes together. And we found all the last names on the different Dawes Rolls that was in the different areas, and then we brought all that together with what Doc had already, because Doc had already started doing it already before they arrested him. He just didn't get a chance to finish it. He was already doing the last name tribal stuff in the newspapers, right?
Yeah,
and
I remember that too.
Yeah, I still got all the newspapers in the garage. I got all the newspapers. Shout out Raguel. Raguel actually want those newspapers back, man. But since I went through them, I'm gonna send them back to him. Yeah, hey, somebody said, Roy, what's your take on so it's Tracing Your Ancestry History Part 1 through 4 in the Native American playlist, Chief School playlist. You watch those tapes and it's got names, pictures, the different Dawes Rolls, where they was at, all it's pretty much laced. That took me a long time to do those classes. Rod, they say, what about the data centers? They are bombarding the U.S. land, the land.
That ain't nothing new. That's just like when they put up all these power plants all over the land.
Hey, what about the one down in Texas, the Stargate project, the $5 billion joint? Yeah.
Listen, the reason why they trying to put the focus on the data centers and the massive amount of water they use because they want to start using hydrogen engines, and they need a way to make the water value increase.
That
You know
makes
what I'm
sense.
saying?
Yeah.
Artificially increasing the value of water. So when they go to the hydrogen cars, or they can try to run this electrical car for another 5 years before they find out that the hydrogen engine is all, you can add a couple of things to the gas engine and convert it.
Yeah. There's already people doing it already.
Yeah. You can convert it to hybrid, or you can convert it to where it's using straight water as gasoline fuel.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get more miles to the gallon, and you're not going to lose horsepower. This is another way to put a higher price on water. Something that's plentiful on the earth, they wanted to appear to have a shortage.
Mm-hmm.
They got an atmospheric river in the sky. If it was really a shortage, all they would have to do is shoot a bomb, blow the atmospheric river bottom out, and it'll pour motherfucking water down like a waterfall right where it blew it out at. So we know they can use smaller explosions to let out lesser amounts. They know how to get the water to the arid lands, to the desert lands, in order to rejuvenate the land. All they doing right now is trying to come up with another kind game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you'll never hear me mention the data centers, because it's some bullshit.
Hey, for the person that came in, never mind, I ain't gonna say nothing about it. You just got booted though. I'm telling you, so you say something about Doc and you get booted. So we ain't gonna say nothing about it. Hey, look, hey y'all, let's see. You got booted so fast, I bet your head spin. I made your head spin. I'm telling you. All right, so somebody says, what was already going back and forth to France anyway, cousins. We cousins. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Because we was already worldwide, like Rod said, we was already worldwide for thousands of years.
You ever heard?
Because the elephants, the animal migration patterns, Rod. I mean, so like the elephants is over here in Florida. And in Colorado and in them areas, like the California, the matriarchs had elephants.
Yeah, the elephant originated in the Americas. The lion did too.
Mm-hmm.
We
The
already
camel.
we went over all that. Yep, the camel.
The horse.
Yep.
Somebody said, how did they know how the land was shaped back those days to show a map without knowing satellites in the sky to sail around the landmass and to remember the shape acquired as imagining memory?
He's pointing out the illogical sentiment of how they told us they made the maps.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense without what we call a bird's eye view or sky view.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's some of the maps, right? They shouldn't be able to make the maps that accurate. But nothing's new under the sun. Warren Fester, nothing new under the sun. When we was in Atlantis, before those little handwritten maps was made, we had cities that floated in the sky. Not just airplanes flying. They floated in the sky using crystal technology. And so none of this stuff is new. But that's a good point, because the way that they told us that they made these maps is by mapping the stars and then going and following the shoreline in order to map out how the shape in the shoreline is.
Mhm.
Right? But that don't make sense because 100 miles of shoreline, you can't see from one end to the other.
Right.
So if it's making a gradual curve and you ain't directly on the shore, how can you map that? It doesn't make sense. But I'll let them tell that lie.
Right. And
If
they
you
was
go
using
into
UFOs back then.
Yeah, if you go into just studying the Hindus in the I'm talking about, they got ancient information that's unbroken. They've been telling since it originally happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They got unbroken documents from this. They still can go to the original. You know, like right now, they can say, "Where's the original Quran?" Ain't no original Quran. They tell you where the oldest one at. When they ask you what theirs is, their original document that's showing what they talking about, or the original instruction, the original maps, all that stuff, they still have those documents, the original documents. Those source documents is what they call them. They have maps of the earth that's in some of them documents that's older than anything that they've shown us to date.
Mm-hmm.
None of this stuff is new. They didn't have no concept of no Pangea until they seen it on the map. They discovered an ancient map that had the world as one landmass. But they didn't know that was before. That was when it was called Tiamat. It was a water world. And the land was an island in the middle of a water world that was a resort. And the Earth women was the ones who hosted the alien nations that came to the Earth. Everybody loved the women of Earth.
And somebody said, why do the federal government have more power than the Constitution of the United States?
Because we gave them more power than we gave the Constitution of the United States by not saying nothing when they doing dirt. It's been so many years of people not saying shit and doing nothing about it that didn't nobody think nothing could be done. We thought it was an insurmountable obstacle on a general level. It's not an insurmountable obstacle. We just slayed the dragon. But yeah, the government appearance of legitimacy to the general public allowed the people to not protest the fact that they were illegitimate. And that's why they was able to override the Constitution and replace it with a secondary Constitution. Let's wrap it on up, El.
Yeah, that's it right there. Hold on, Ron. Let me post this on the screen. Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. We gave you the Philly update. Everything went as planned. You know what I'm saying? This is what we want y'all to do, man. I'm gonna put this on the screen real quick. Hey, man, we want everybody right now. We got about 2,000 people on. Everybody send Chief $5. Send him $10 if you got it. If you send him 20, 25, 100, right? Put him in the game till the next time we come on, y'all. And then because he got to re-up from that trip from Philly, man. Roy said he had a good time in Philly, man, down there at the All Eyes on Egypt coach. Shout out to All Eyes on Egypt Coaches Center, man, in Philly and in Atlanta, North Carolina, BMO, New York. Right?
Yeah. I went to another bookstore too.
Which one, bro?
I don't remember the name of it, but I'll get the card. I'll send you a picture of the card.
Black Nobles. It probably was Black Nobles.
They got a lot of bookstores in Philly.
Shout out them brothers in Philly, man. Shout out Brother Love, man, the fourth elder in Philly, man. I think he's still in Philly. Yeah, we about to get up out of here, y'all.
This time we were so busy. I didn't get to see him this time, but Bro, love, I ain't forgot about you. I'll catch up to you, but right now I just had to do something different.
Yes, sir. Yeah, shout out Fourth Elder, man. Look, man, we about to get up out of here, y'all. One love, one heart. Free Master Teacher Dr. Malachi Z. York. Free Chief Larry Hoover. Free the L Rookie Jeff Fort, y'all. We send divine love throughout the universe to all. Wadu.
Wadu.
Never have it been made so clear.